Hi, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request from DarkMetalSpider. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, requesting any type of videos, whether it be a topic, tier list, ranking, review, re-review, thought streams, commentaries, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. CashApp is a possibility as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And DarkMetalSpider wanted me to talk about the Green Hornet from 2011. I forget if she said if she liked this film or not. I certainly don't. And I have seen this film once before, and I was not a fan of this movie. I did watch it again, and I feel the same way. Now, I'm not an expert on these sorts of material. The TV show, I knew, of course, Bruce Lee was Kato. I know they did at least one episode, maybe a few others, where they were in some of the Adam West Batman episodes. But that's about all I knew about the Green Hornet. I knew that Kevin Smith for a while was going to do it. And he said he was writing a script. And while he would say, I don't want to do a superhero movie, I just want to do sort of a movie that's really of just people talking. But it seemed like he was going to do it, but then I'm guessing he got scared, got cold feet, and just said, nah, I'm not going to do it, and instead it went to this. Now, apparently, I didn't know this until looking it up. Stephen Chow, who did Kung Fu Hustle, Shaolin Soccer, I think he did Shaolin Soccer. I know he did Kung Fu Hustle. Did he do Shaolin Soccer? I think. Anyway, he was going to not only direct the film, but he was going to be Kato. And that would have been interesting. I'm like, okay, this guy definitely knows his things. If you watch Kung Fu Hustle, he definitely good at martial arts. Could be unique in the comedy aspect, the visuals, zaniness, if that's a possibility, if that's the direction you want to go in. But creative differences, he was no longer director. But he was still going to co-star as Kato. But then some delays, some other stuff, he left. And then you got Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen writes the film with his buddy. The same guys that write Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Another bullshit. Some of their stuff I liked. This Is the End I liked. But they should just stay away from franchises. What little I saw of Preacher pissed me off because I fucking love that comic book. I love it right here. I have him right here above my head. And I couldn't even stomach watching because I saw a little bit. I was pissed off. Because I love the Preacher comic. I'm like, just copy and paste the comic, motherfuckers. And they didn't. So fuck them. And then what they did in Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the worst Ninja Turtle film I've ever seen in my fucking life. Yes, that includes the Michael Bay produced bullshit. I'd rather watch that bullshit, which I still think sucks, than the Mutant Mayhem. And this, whatever the hell this was. I think they even admitted that this was not their field because they don't do PG-13 stuff. Which is ironic, because then they wrote Mutant Mayhem, Ninja Turtles. Sure learned your fucking lesson. But people praise that movie for some fucking reason. If you like Mutant Mayhem, that's fine. We all have different tastes. I just don't see the appeal of that movie at all, and I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. But I'm going off topic. I'll go on a 30-minute tangent on the piece of shit movie. April puking up for 5 minutes, looking like a fucking, if Whoopi Goldberg was a fucking hobo. Fat ass. Anyway. So not only do you have Seth Rogen and his buddy writing the film, which they're not the right fit for this. It's also directed by Michael Gondry, who did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I liked that film. I saw that film in theaters. I think that's a very good movie. But that's not the guy to get a Green Hornet film. I don't look at Eternal Sunshine and go, that guy, he should do an action movie. Well, or an action comedy. And not only that, but Seth Rogen is going to be the Green Hornet. Talk about miscasting. If it was George Clooney and Stephen Chow, that would work. But Seth Rogen as the Green Hornet? Really? And then Jay Chow as Tato. I didn't know who the fuck Jay Chow is. I guess he's a singer. And I don't know what else he did. I might have seen him in stuff and I don't remember. This guy sucked. This guy was awful. And I'll call him Seth and Jay. Seth and Jay had no chemistry with each other. They ran like oil and water. Seth Rogen's character is such an annoying, douchebag, useless person. And I know that's the point, is that his father, at the beginning, Tom Wilkinson, who was in the first Rush Hour, and he's been in other stuff, pretty much wants Seth Rogen to get off his fat ass and do something. But he's a bad guy, apparently. Don't be a lazy fuck, Seth. To be fair, the character was a prick at the beginning because the son tried to help someone and the dad just took his toy and ripped the head off. So he was a dick there, to be fair. But as an adult, it's like, hey, get off your fat ass and do something. And before we go on, the plot of the film, soon after those opening bits, Tom Wilkinson's character dies. So Seth Rogen now owns what his dad had, which is this newspaper. The newspaper is run by Edward James Olmos. And then a new secretary is hired, and it's Cameron Diaz. Pretty much Seth Rogen, his character, apparently fired the whole staff. Nice guy, huh? What a great guy. You know, so you cost people their jobs who did nothing wrong to you. So you just fired a bunch of people and made them now have to worry about if they have kids, all the other stuff they need to worry about now. You just fire them all. So what a great protagonist, guys. What a great lead character to root for, feel sorry for. And the only reason he rehires Tato is because he can make coffee. Why does my coffee suck? You fired everybody, including Tato. Well, get Tato in here now. Tato is a mechanic, and he can also make coffee, and he can also do martial arts. Seth Rogen and Jay Chow bond somehow for some reason. I guess they bond over how Seth's dad was an asshole. They bond over that. And they get drunk, and they rip off this statue of Seth's father. Seth sees a couple people in trouble, tries to help. He can't do shit, so Tato has to save him. So already we got miscasting because Seth Rogen does not work in this role. Jay Chow, sometimes I couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying. He's talking in broken English. And then when he fights, it's not that impressive because they do this fucking thing where he'll scam people like the Terminator. And the idea is when his adrenaline kicks in, it's like time slows down for him. So he'll stand like he's the Terminator. Weapon, 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 weapon. There's this head of a statue there. Then when he runs, the screen extends, so instead of running on one car, he runs like on 5-7 cars. And then he fights like it's Jet Li from The One. Only that's meant to be a sci-fi, it's multiverse, like, it's That's part of the gimmick. Here, it's like, we're going to do this to hide that this guy is not the martial artist that Bruce Lee or Stephen Chow or Donnie Yen or Jet Li or many other people are. And when you're thinking of a character that is best known for Bruce Lee and what he could do, like I remember a clip I saw where there's I think he was in this. I know he did on another TV show as well, where he would go up and hit the light. I know he did another stuff, but I think he did it in one of those as well. Might have been the one where they were with Batman, but he like tips the light, and you gotta have someone to be able to do that for real, because you're stepping in the shoes of a character Bruce Lee played. And instead of using all this CGI gimmick bullshit, I was ready for Let the Bodies Hit the Floor to play, like the one did with Jet Li. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. And the one I'd rather watch than this. So you have a Jay who doesn't have the charisma, doesn't have the presence. There's a reason why you never hear about this fucking guy anymore. I don't know what the last film he even did. Him and Seth have no chemistry with each other. Jay, for the most part, is very kind of wooden and speaking broken English, so I'm not even going to try to attempt it, because if I try, people say, you're just being racist, because I'm trying to mimic how he sounded like. That's the way it is today. James Franco is in the film at the beginning as a guy trying to screw over our main villain, and then Jay Franco and his place gets blown up. David Harbour, which I forgot he was in this, from Stranger Things. He's here as a district attorney who was a friend of Seth's father. Then you find some shenanigans going on. Christoph Waltz. Honestly, the best part of the movie. Christoph Waltz from Inglourious Basterds. He tries to bring some life into this. Where the first scene, he's being berated by James Franco, and Franco's saying, you're not scary, you're too old. He's like, I'm not scary? And he has his gun that has 2 barrels, so he like shoots these 2 and these 2, but in 2 shots, so shoots 2 here, shoots 2 there. Are you sure I'm not scary? And just when his scenes pop up, at least he tries to bring a bit of fresh energy and a quirkiness to his character. Like he wants to be proud of his name, or like he eventually kind of wants to be in a way a supervillain, so he wants like a name with blood in the title, and actually just certain bits where him talking with the henchman, like he's trying. I do think he's trying, and I think he gives the best performance in the movie. Edward James Olmos, anybody could play this role. Seriously, anybody could play this role. It was a waste of Edward James Olmos' time, honestly. Cameron Diaz, she's pretty much there to be a secretary, and there's a bit later on where Seth tries to kiss her, and she's like, what are you doing? And I don't want you to kiss me, and at this point she's been fired, and she's like, okay, I want to be rehired, but I want double the salary. And also, if you look at my ass again, I'll sue everything for sexual harassment. So, man, this movie, that's the one thing this movie saw coming, was shit like that. Just Cameron Diaz, I mean, I don't mind Cameron Diaz as an actress. Again, nothing special to her character, to her role. I think most people, if you remember the film, you probably forget Cameron Diaz was even in this fucking movie. If you remember this film exists. Speaking of another guy you may forget who's in this, Edward Furlong. Yes, Edward Furlong. Eddie Furlong from Terminator 2, Pet Sematary 2. He's in this as a meth cooker, meth drug dealer. Because as the story goes, after this excursion, Seth really wants to be a hero, a vigilante, but he has the idea, which is one of the only clever ideas in the film of, well, wait a minute. What's the thing that superheroes, get wrong? If they're a good guy, then the bad guy will go, come out or I'll kill some hostages. And then we're screwed. But if they think we're bad guys, and we'll actually do good things, but then the newspaper stuff think we're bad guys, we could hide from that. We could take care of that. So Tato, he makes up the car, the Black Beauty, with all these gadgets and guns and bulletproof windows and vests. Trying to remember. I forget what the hell else happened. You did like a montage of really Tato doing all the stuff, or working on the Black Beauty, and Seth Rogen not really doing anything. Except trying to hook up with Cameron Diaz at the newspaper office. And the dialogue, you could tell that these guys were not comfortable with this film, writing-wise. Because they're trying to make jokes, and you tell they wanted to be more edgy, they wanted to be more R-rated. Of course, they could not. So they're saying lines like, oh, you have like a cool book, Tato. You'd have a cool book like Balls Deep in Shit-Kicking Dudes by Tato. Or that'll be on his grave. I forget what it was. Balls Deep in Shit-Kicking Dudes by Tato. Or I forget what the fuck else the dialogue was, honestly. And the arc for Seth Rogen's character is that he's useless for most of the movie until he does a little bit here and there at the end. But like one of the excursions, Seth is being a fucking idiot, so then Tato has to shoot someone. But I guess apparently they were fine with killing people. I get it, they're bad guys, but yeah, I think, well, it's one thing. It's a bad guy, you think you could kill him. It's another to do it in real life. You don't feel something about that. It's one thing to beat him up and leave them for the police. It's another to actually kill someone. And here Tato has to do it because Seth's an idiot. And you think it's going to be some kind of drama, some type of conversation, and what you doing, and you're not paying attention, you're not ready for this. No, not really. Just more shitty jokes, shitty dialogue. Seth Rogen acting like most of his fucking roles. Being a man-child. Great, so, which he knows how to do. And that's what it was. He just played an unlikable man-child. So why the fuck am I supposed to root for his character? That'd be the thing, like, for this movie, why am I supposed to root for Seth Rogen's character? He's a spoiled brat who just wants to do this for... It seems like he wants to help people, but it seems like more of just for the shits and giggles. And then Tato's doing all the work. And, okay, for example, Tato gives him this gas gun. Oh, well, how come you don't have a gun? And he says, well, because I know how to fight with my fists and you can't. Which is true. But then Seth, his character being a man-child baby bitch, gets butthurt about it. Then starts fighting over the gun and he shoots himself like an idiot. I guess the gun wasn't perfected, so he was under for 11 days. And then as soon as he wakes up and he hears that, he gets the gun working and shoots Tato in the face. Because now it's only going to be out for an hour. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you're the one who shot yourself in the face, idiot. So like, if Tato purposely shot you, then it'd make sense that you would shoot him back. You did it yourself, you fucking moron. At one point, they drive through this drug lab. Edward Furlong's there. The place is on fire, ready to explode. Edward Furlong escapes. He tossed to Christoph Waltz, and Christoph accidentally bangs his gun and kills Eddie Furlong. The action scenes, when it's the fight scenes, they're edited in a way where it's trying to be in that weird time stopping type of time, where again it feels like enhancements, because they know this guy can't pull off what they want to be pulled off. Which, why hire this guy in the first place then? Like, why this guy to play Kato? What was it about this guy they saw to go, you know what, that's the guy who should play the role that Bruce Lee one time played? Why? So miscast on both, because both sucked. And even the action at times, there's a couple like decent explosions and, you know, car flipping stunts. There's this nice bit where at the end they gotta drive to the newspaper because they have a USB. They're going to try to get on to the interwebs because it's got some evidence and confession. So they drive the car into this glass elevator and they go, screw it, we'll just stay in the car. So as it goes up, it cuts the front part of the car off and it lands on a guy. So that wide shot of the car going up the elevator, I thought that looked neat. And then because of Kato's mechanic skills, they can still drive the car. So you have this like just the front of the car and they're driving it like this, going through the office. That was kind of cool to see. I'll give it that. And but at the same time, like, it's, you know where it's going. There's going to be a point where they're new partners. They don't split up. In this case, Cameron Diaz wants to see Kato. Seth Rogen gets butthurt about it. Kato lies about it. Then they get into a fight where Kato is mostly winning, but then Seth Rogen has some cheap shots in there. Hey, I mean, at least you get to see Seth Rogen get the shit kicked out of him, so that could give you some chuckles. There you go. There's a point where they get into a trap because Seth Rogen won't listen to reason. They're at this construction place. They're ready to be buried. They shoot some missiles and blow this car up. They get away. Of course, they're separated, but you know they don't get back together. Which they do because, spoilers, you find out that David Harbour was working for the bad guy, Christoph Waltz. David Harbour was mad at Seth's dad because the dad was supposed to be going along with his newspaper and not get into these crimes, but the dad didn't want to do anymore, so David Harbour killed him and made it seem like it was a allergy from a bee sting. Seth got the confession, gets with Kato, car chase. But I was mentioning the action scenes. There's one bit of the montage where they're driving the Black Beauty, and behind them are like 8 cop cars. So there's 8 cop cars, but then they slam into one cop car and it like slides into a tree or something. And then you never see the other cop cars again. Because the next shot is the car by itself. And I'm like, what happened to the other 7 cop cars? That was a weirdly edited scene. If you ever see this one, just look at a scene where there's like 8 cop cars and the Black Beauty's like going this way and the cop cars are coming. I think they're going like this way, this way. One cop car is slammed, and it's like, well, what the hell happened to the others? So, that was a bit weird. And during the finale, there's a bit where Seth starts standing, and then he tries, but you can tell he's so fucking slow. He's unathletic to do the shit. Even then, he's still he's supposedly doing fast, but he can like barely do stuff and barely do this, and maybe that's part of the joke. But that's the thing. This film wasn't that funny as a comedy. So it wasn't funny. The action scenes, a couple little moments here or there that are fine, like the ones I mentioned, but eh. The martial arts scenes are ruined by all the dimity, slowing down, like, I don't know. Again, it seems like more to hide what Jay Chow couldn't do. I'm sure they would say, because to enhance... Tato didn't fucking have that in anything I've heard of Green Hornet, that he could fucking slow down time. And then the USB didn't fucking matter, so... Because they just rammed the car into David Harbour. They have the ejector seat. The car lands on David Harbour, kills him. The USB's in his mouth, and then a firefighter like looks at it and then just throws it. Because that's what you do with all evidence. Anytime you have evidence, whether you're a firefighter, a paramedic, a cop, whatever, you just take it and just throw it. Because that happens all the fucking time at crime scenes. What's in his mouth? Oh, fuck it. So the whole USB didn't fucking matter. I'm sitting there going, so you're telling me you could just fucking killed David Harbour? That's all you had to do? Shit. Inadvertently. And then Christoph Waltz, he dies because Tato, takes these things and stabs both his eyes. But of course, you can't see a whole lot of it because of the rating. And then they're off to... more adventures, and now the Black Beauty can change color, and that's the only time you hear the Green Hornet theme, which I think it was Kill Bill Volume 1. Tarantino used the Green Hornet theme. But I can't even do it. But yeah, this film, it wasn't funny. Seth was miscast. The guy who played Kato, miscast. Martial arts scenes hindered by all the gimmicky and CGI enhancements and all that shit. Lack of chemistry between the actors. Edward James Olmos given nothing to do. Cameron Diaz just there. Same with David Harbour, just there, but this is before David Harbour was more famous. Christoph Waltz is trying. Weird Eddie Furlong cameo out of the blue. James Franco made sense because they were friends with the guy. Nowadays, James Franco is incognito because of the stuff he did. I know Seth wants nothing to do with the guy. But at that point, they were like brothers because Freaks and Geeks and Pineapple Express and this movie, This Is the End. He was in the Disaster Artist that Franco starred and directed in. So there you go. Anyway, I don't know what to say. I think this film fucking sucks. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.